We are once again today breaking new ground in Way the Hunter, checking out a region that we had previously left undiscovered and had planned to only gain access to through the missions until a particular animal showed up. You may recall, some time ago I mentioned that I wanted to earn access to the she-devil area rather than actually purchasing it, but that all changed very quickly when this guy ran off. A 5-star Bighorn sheep. And luckily I was able to spot them as they went over a hill and see that 5-star come up, so I immediately went back, purchased access, and now we're looking at, I think, our third 5-star big game animal right out there about 270 yards away. So that's not the ideal angle, but if he maybe goes a little more broadside, I think we could probably do that, and it looks like that is the direction he's going. If he'll just kind of follow what that one's doing, we should be pretty good. Now, I don't think this is the same Bighorn that was a 4-star when we did the Black Bighorn sheep mission that would have grown. I think we're looking at an entirely different herd. And if that's the case, that multi-mount could get very, very interesting. But I just want him to take a step to the left, and we'd be looking pretty much perfect if he'd do it. The Bighorn in this game looks so good as well. We can see that full curl going on there. Actually, he's going to go back to the right. I'd like him to slow down just a little. I think that'll work. He just stepped forward as we shot, but I think I saw pink blood come up. We managed to kind of move the crosshairs over as he did it. I think we did okay. He looks to me like he's kind of lagging behind the rest. I'm pretty sure that's a vital hit. He is really slowing down now, and he's going to bed right there at 350 yards. That kind of stressed me out when he started moving. I don't know how to describe that, but we were so far into the action of trying to shoot, it was just a matter of correcting as we were pulling the trigger, but that is really, really cool. I've seen, between the Mouflon and the Bighorn, a fair number of 5-stars posted, and they are some of the best sheep models, especially for the horns, but in general, that I've seen in any game. And I knew when we had the opportunity to do the Black Bighorn sheep mission that we could have a really, really cool multi-mount. So this will be sheep number 2 in that mount, and I can't believe, I mean, it was literally right down here on the road, right about where that tracking marker is. And luckily, we got up high, able to spot back and see where they were, and it really wasn't that big a deal to take them out with the 308. We've definitely seen far worse for a photo. I wish the red vegetation here wasn't kind of clipping through the head, but we can make that work. There are angles, because that happens in most trophy shots. There are angles that make it look not as bad. I think that's actually pretty decent. And of course, we'll be able to take a photo of the animal itself in the trophy lodge. But I'm not sure that we can do a whole lot better, just considering the fact that we do have that vegetation there. The lighting is really, really good here. And let's actually see what we have for this guy. I would have to assume we've walked past this, I don't know, dozens of times, because very often I do go to this outpost and then walk this way and hunt things like elk and mule deer. So this guy, which I'm sure we've walked right by on many occasions, double lung in fact with that little correction. Good thing we aimed high, because otherwise that's into the liver or maybe intestines. Not a bad deal at 264 yards. 89.63% on the genetics, so probably 460-ish, if 460 is the number for Bighorn. 471, so maybe 470 is the requirement. We'll take a look at that in a moment, but they just look so good. I mean, these are some of the best looking Bighorn in any game I've ever played. Let's be sure to taxidermy that. That's always my fear, is selling an animal that I want to tax. But then if we go into the encyclopedia, we can see just how big that Bighorn was compared to what would be the maximum. So down at the bottom, 460 is 5 stars, so actually that was a pretty good one. So after getting that 5-star Bighorn, I decided to basically not touch anything up here in the northwest and save it for this particular video, just to kind of see what we can encounter. Now you may have noticed there, it's kind of mid-afternoon in game, right about 3:30 right now, so we'll likely get to hunt an evening and a morning by the time this hunt wraps up, but I'm looking forward to seeing what's up here. I've really wanted to go here, but was saving it for the missions up until that Bighorn showed up. Had to get access, and at this point, you might as well see what's up here. And our first trip into these mountains pretty much has us right away on some mountain goats. A 3-star mature there, got a 2-star mature, and I think that is another Billy, another 3-star. I believe the age thing was fixed, so when we're seeing mature, I think that is actually correct. And I don't know what the maturity cycle for mountain goats is. I'm not sure how long they can age basically in that mature range. But I think we're going to go ahead and take the 2-star, and maybe as we go up there, we'll check and see how long they are in that mature age range. And at the end of a fairly tough track, we do have our first mountain goat of the hunt, and looks like we were maybe a little bit high there, but it got into the right lung at least. Never did make it to the left lung. 63% though on that guy, which that's decent enough, I guess. It does seem like genetics kind of do persist throughout the herd, so we could expect the others to be in that area or possibly a little bit bigger, but I think we likely made the right move. If we go to the mountain goat section of the encyclopedia here, their maturity range is 11 to 16 years. 5 years is a long time for them to potentially go up 2-star ratings, and I think if those guys are both maybe just at 11 years old, there's a fair chance one or both could eventually get there. And the nice thing is too, they are pretty close to the outpost, so I think a fair chance we'll encounter them several more times and get to see what they become. I really am beginning to think we've just been missing out on one of the best areas on the map. We've got some Bighorn out here now. I spotted these like 300 yards away, and they kind of went down into this dip and we had to crawl all the way over here, but that is a 4-star mature. Now the interesting thing about Bighorn is that they can be at least somewhat accurately aged. I think that is the 4-year ring there, and then you gotta count backwards towards the skull, and to be honest, I just can't really make out how many rings are there. I think they reach their maximum age around 12, so because he's a 4-star, as much as I'd like to shoot him and put him in that multi-mount, we'll probably wait on that, maybe try to take a smaller one. So this guy here is a young, which is actually good to see. It seems like that is working properly then. There is another kind of small one there. Actually, that guy's not bad. Can we get a spot on that? That is a 2-star adult. That actually gives me, again, to mention the kind of herd genetics, that gives me a lot of hope for this mature. And to be honest, looking at the fur color, he's not a whole lot grayer looking than the young one beside him. That one there, though, a 2-star mature, is probably the one we want to take out. It is amazing, by the way, how close you can get if you just sort of sit still and let them do the moving around. Once you start to even crawl, they'll tend to catch on, but if you just sit still, you can actually crouch up and just sit there and watch. Basically, any movement that actually involves moving your feet can cause the animals to spook. Turning, equipping items and stuff like that does not, and I kind of wish it would, but I do like that you're able to crouch up without having the animals just immediately take off. Probably should have marked where he was, but it was not a far shot, so I'm sure we can locate that. And I guess we actually didn't hit him all that well. That is a small amount of red blood, so that's not ideal. At least we know the direction the entire herd went in, so we may be able to hit him again. Now, because there are a bunch kind of in that same size range, I'm not sure we can just spot him, say, 400 yards away and hit him with the 300, but I think at least at first, we'll just kind of get up high and try to spot them again. I really, not only do I want to get him just for the sake of taking those genetics out of the herd for a only 2-star mature, but I mostly want to know what happened. I felt like that shot was fine. We are about to completely lose light, but we do have a 1-star mature elk down there, and rather than just go back and reset the time with nothing, I think we're going to go ahead and attempt to at least take that with the 300. Looks like a solid hit. I can see a lot of blood, and actually he probably is not going to go anywhere, which certainly will help considering the lighting situation. Kind of still going surprisingly, perhaps to do a little bit with the range, but even still, looks like he just tipped over. So I think the move is going to be, first of all, try to get down here safely, and I'm actually not sure the best way to do that, but probably we'll just come right back up here first thing in the morning and see if we can locate that bighorn again. And by the way, there is a chance, and I think the way the aging has changed a little bit, I don't think it always happens now with a time reset to the next day, but there's a chance that a 4-star could have aged to a 5-star, and that's going to be a little bit of what we do as well with the 4-star that we spotted in the herd with the black bighorn from the mission. I want to go up and check that one as well, kind of in the same region so we can continue to explore new territory, but I'm glad we at least got something for our efforts up here before it gets completely dark. And I would like to think still we could have followed that blood trail, but certainly makes it nice when we don't even need to. That guy's got to have a pretty low genetic potential, 24.5% for that one. Definitely a good one to take out as a mature. So we'll go back, we'll rest to morning, probably go and restock our ammo as well. And we'll try this again. Now, I've had my markers disappearing. I think it is basically right on top here where they were. So we'll leave a marker here. Not 100% sure that it's going to stay, but I'm pretty sure we can get there regardless of whether or not it does. Well, on the plus side, there are some kind of decent mule deer up in here. We saw that 3-star go running by, but this is roughly where we spotted the bighorn, and I see no sign of them whatsoever. Now, it is of course morning now, and we spotted them kind of late into the afternoon, so it could just be a matter of that. But I have certainly seen 3-star matures get much bigger, so we'll probably let that guy go for the moment. Probably a 1-star mature is going to be what we take. Unless, is that a buck as well? Oh, there might be 2 3-star matures in here. That would be a little more encouraging. Got a young one there, and that also is indeed a 3-star mature mule deer, so let's try to get that 1-star out of here. And maybe we will encounter those bighorn later in the hunt, but as of now, I'm not too sure where they got to. Interestingly enough, we can make a next shot no problem. I'd really love to know just what happened. Maybe just slowing down the footage will be enough to figure it out. I felt like at 50 yards, even though it was walking, it should have been a doable shot. Whatever happened, that one, maybe we'll get to find that out later. It is pretty cool to encounter the mule deer up here in the mountains. I kind of wish they wouldn't run back at us, but that's just a thing that'll happen on occasion. That is a ton of blood. That one rock is completely coated. But, spot shot back in the neck there at 118 yards, 23% on those genetics. Makes me maybe a little less encouraged for those 2 3-stars, but maybe there's still a chance. Well, I thought for a moment, when I saw this 2-star adult, that maybe we were on to the right herd, but I don't see the 4-star, and I don't see the mature. In fact, I don't see any matures in this particular herd, so I think for the sake of learning a bit, we're gonna at least try to take that guy. He took a step right as we shot. I think that's him there, and he is sort of starting to slow down, so I think we did get him good despite the fact that we're probably a bit far back. And we can still kind of watch where he's going over there through the trees. It looks like he is going to bed down eventually, so we'll just try to mark that location to save ourselves some tracking. He slowed down somewhere up in there, so let's just leave the marker there. But I really thought we might have been onto them when I saw the 2-star adult, and the main reason I wanted to shoot that, even though we didn't shoot the last one, is just because I want to have maybe an idea of what to expect out of that other herd. I would like to think we'll run into them again eventually. We're not too far from where those were, but not the same herd. And the bad news, by the way, is that I spent so long trying to get close to this herd, we used up a lot of the time we have left in this hunt, but that was too far back, actually into the liver, and a bit of shockwave damage, and actually we hit the right lung, just barely due to the angle, so lucked out, although I believe according to this, the liver shot would have still been a fatal hit. 88% probably would have been a 5-star one day. That was probably a mistake, but like I said, I wanted to learn a bit, and I do think, if anything, the 2-star adult we saw earlier in the hunt looked to me to be a little bit bigger than that, so maybe at least worth trying to learn a little bit about what to actually look for in a 2-star bighorn. Kind of unfortunate, but assuming that one of our other big ones eventually gets to 5-star, at least we can fill the multi-mount with only one more. I figured we at least might as well go and try to find the other 4-star bighorn from the herd with the black bighorn sheep. And he is still a 4-star. Now, I think, again, for the sake of trying to learn a little bit, we'll probably try to take him. he is looking a little bit gray anyway, and I've actually had that one that came out of there looked even bigger. I have no idea where it just went. I never saw that the entire time that I've been watching this herd. I spotted them from way down there and came up here, and basically we're going to take the shot either way. They're going out that way, over 300 yards already, so we won't be able to spot them. But let's at least leave a track marker. We did actually just spot that female that came up there. We might not be done with this herd because I can't see any way that the 4-star that we shot could have gone back up around and gone through our line of sight again. Anyway, I've been told that it seems a lot of people get a 4-star bighorn in that herd, and generally speaking they don't end up getting any bigger. So I'm okay to take it and learn, and especially given what we saw in that previous herd, and the fact that we shot that adult that was in the 80s for the genetic potential, which probably could have been a 5-star one day. I think we have good enough genes to find a 5-star eventually. As for the one that we shot, I'm not even sure where the blood is. Right on the side of this rock, so he is hit well. Can see where he was running down there with that pink blood. I really doubt he went very far. And in fact, he's laying right here in the trees, so able to make that recovery with no hunter sense on. But let's actually see what we got for this guy. He actually looks very similar to our 5-star. Don't know why I was trying to do that. Can't really look up in the sky and claim things in this game, so that was lung and liver as well. We better start to push our shots a little further forward. We're in liver twice now today. 98 yards away though, and 78.46% on the genetics. That certainly is the right move. By the way, and I think we're going to tax this just to complete that multi-mount anyway. I've been meaning to say this entire hunt, and I keep on forgetting because things keep happening, and whether it is a 4-shot on a bighorn, seeing a 4-star in there, all the things that went down. My plan is for this to be our last hunt on the hunter difficulty, at least until it gets fixed to actually be as difficult as it should be. I was trying to run a fairly thorough test to be absolutely certain that adventure is, at the moment, more difficult than hunter, and I'm pretty confident in saying it is. That might not have been the right herd. I would not be shocked at all if this actually is the 4-star that we had with the black bighorn sheep. And he may be a 5-star now, he's out of range to actually spot, but the ones that we spooked, including the one that looked much bigger than the 4-star that we shot, are settled down, I think, right kind of off the edge of this point here. So they were about 250 yards away where I heard the last sound. So this will be an interesting decision. I don't know if we can get to a point where we can spot everything and just kind of see, but suddenly we may be in a different spot than I thought we were. If that's what I saw, that is definitely not one we want to take out. That is a 3-star adult. That may be the first 3-star adult of any species we've seen, and I can see why I would have thought it was bigger. It does have a better curl going on already as an adult. Now the problem is, because I thought these bighorn were actually from this herd, I thought we had spooked them on the way up, and I never even looked for a zone, so finding them again will be tough. But because he's an adult and because bighorn take quite some time to reach their peak age, I think we'll probably have the time to do it. Now that kind of leaves us with that guy, and to be honest, he doesn't look like a 5-star to me. I think he's probably still a 4. I'm not sure we should just kind of blast him with the 300 from here, but if we can get the kind of 30 yards closer we need to at least get him spotted, and if he is a 4, I think we'll take him. Just gonna be a matter of doing that without falling down the cliff. We at least can identify that it is a 4-star, and I'm kind of thinking just because of the circumstances, rather than sneak all the way in there, just for what I believe is a 4-star, probably similar genetics to the last, we'll probably try to get him from here. I want to say the 300 will be enough to get a frontal lung shot. Just gotta get the drop right, so let's see if we can do that. Second shot dropped him. The first shot hit a branch or something. If we hit him in the head, we won't be able to tax him, but because we already taxed a 4-star, I think that is going to be just fine. Kind of getting those genetics out and hopefully making room for another ram down the road. But again, based on what we've seen from, honestly, probably 3 different Bighorn today, I think we're in real good shape to eventually get another 5-star for that mount. I did want to just go ahead and throw a 4-star in there just because I really want to see it completed, but that was super encouraging, particularly with the 3-star adult, and that was all because we came up here to look for what I think in the end was not the 4-star we mounted, but that guy. That was straight into the skull. Why did that kill him? Is the idea just basically shock or trauma maybe? It's almost gotta be, because it's not like we hit the brain. You can see down here, it was not impacted. That's the first time we've done that. I think every time we've attempted a headshot, which has been few and far between, they have struck the brain, but that guy was 96.69%. Evidently, either not the same Bighorn or that guy had really, really good odds, and he was just a really young mature. Now, the other side of it is, because he looks so old to me, he may have been past his prime already. I think I'm gonna hope that it was actually that, and again, headshots, we can't actually tax him. That's a bit of a bummer, but I still think we're pretty okay, given what we saw elsewhere. So we've got our 4-star up here next to the black Bighorn and the 5-star, just to kind of complete that mount and take a look. And honestly, I can't wait to get a 5-star in that slot as well. And it'd be really cool to get like the larger 5-star horns. These are obviously the smaller ones, and there's one that is even a little bit more massive and a little bit bigger than what we see here. But I was thinking about the one with 96% on the genetics. It wouldn't make a lot of sense for that to be past its prime and smaller than it would have once been. That's not really how horn growth works, so probably we did indeed mess up and shoot one that would have eventually been absolutely massive. But I'm encouraged by the 3-star, the adult that we saw down there. I think we're going to be okay to eventually get that as a 5-star. Hopefully that'll be the case, but for now, we'll have to live with only having a 4-star next to our 5-star and the black Bighorn. But anyway, that is officially going to do it for this video, so as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.